In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on April 27, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. New York Knicks versus Detroit Pistons. The NBA regular season and the play-in tournament are now behind us. The postseason has arrived, and the 3rd-seeded New York Knicks are hitting the road to take on the 6th-seeded Detroit Pistons in Game 4 of their best-of-7 series this Sunday afternoon. It's a crucial stretch now, where every possession matters and both teams are starting to feel the weight of playoff basketball. The Knicks are hoping to tighten their grip on the series, while the Pistons are fighting to even things up on their home court. When the series kicked off Saturday night, New York used a big fourth quarter push to take over and cruise to a 123-112 win at home, easily covering the spread as a 7-point favorite. Detroit wasn't rattled, though, and came back strong in Game 2, pulling off a 100-94 upset win Monday night, cashing in as a 6.5-point underdog. As the series shifted to Detroit for Game 3, the Knicks managed to escape with a tight 118-116 win, once again covering the line as 1.5-point favorites. Through this postseason run, New York has won 2 out of their 3 series matchups, and both teams have picked up 9 playoff wins each, making this a much tighter battle than it may seem at first glance. The Knicks could find themselves a little short-handed heading into Game 4, with Mitchell Robinson listed as questionable due to an illness. On the other side, Detroit is keeping tabs on Isaiah Stewart, who also carries a questionable tag for this one. These injuries could have a major impact on the way things unfold, especially as both teams have leaned heavily on their bigs throughout the series. Detroit has managed to match up pretty well against New York so far, and they come into this game feeling good after a strong fourth quarter in Game 3, where they outscored the Knicks 33-25. Their success shooting the 3-ball has been a real difference maker, with the Pistons ranking 5th in the playoffs at 38.5% from deep, while the Knicks are down at 11th with a 34.4% clip. Detroit's bench has also been a spark, with guys like Dennis Schroeder and Malik Beasley stepping up to keep the offense moving when the starters need a breather. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect in this next game. This series has been wild, and the last 2 matchups could have easily gone either way. The Pistons are back home now and seem to finally get comfortable by the end of Game 3. Even though they didn't pull off the win, this is a must-win for Detroit if they're going to stay alive in this series, and Tobias Harris is overdue for a big night after struggling last game. I'm still uneasy about the Knicks and how thin their rotation is getting. Their starters are playing heavy minutes, and if Robinson can't go, that's just another body they don't have. New York still has more experience and raw talent, but the Pistons are a tough, gritty team that isn't going to bow out without a real fight. Climbing out of a 3-1 hole is brutal for any team, so the Pistons are going to be under a lot of pressure to hold down home court and claw their way back into this series. The Knicks got the win in Game 3, but it wasn't exactly convincing. Detroit has every reason to believe they could be leading this series right now if a few plays had gone differently. New York was a little lucky to take the series lead back, but make no mistake, the Pistons are very much in this fight. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Game 1 of this series was a high-scoring shootout, with 235 total points easily clearing the over. But in Game 2, things slowed way down, and the teams combined for only 194 points, way short of the 221.5-point line the sportsbook set. Then Game 3 swung back the other way, with the 2 teams putting up 234 points, beating a 216-point total. They've been playing at the 3rd fastest pace of all the first-round series, averaging 96.9 possessions per night. Their offensive efficiency numbers are middle of the pack, but after seeing how they both looked in Game 3, even a little regression still keeps things interesting. 2 out of the 3 games in this series have seen both teams crack at least 110 points, so offense is definitely taking center stage. Looking at true shooting percentages in the playoffs, the Knicks are 5th at 58%, while the Pistons are just a tick higher at 4th with 58.2%. Both teams also do a great job getting to the free throw line, ranking in the top 5 for attempts per game. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Los Angeles Lakers versus Minnesota Timberwolves. Sunday is bringing us Game 4 of the Western Conference playoffs, and to get you ready, we're diving into a breakdown of both sides. We've got the Los Angeles Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves facing off again after Minnesota pulled ahead in the series. Los Angeles had a golden opportunity to take control but let it slip away on Friday night. Minnesota made the most of it, grabbing a 2-1 series lead after a 116-104 win. This series between the Lakers and Timberwolves has been one of the most exciting of the first round. It's been following a pretty familiar pattern known as the zigzag theory, where momentum bounces back and forth between the two teams depending on the last game's outcome. Basically, the idea is that the team that loses one game tends to respond strong in the next, and so far, that's exactly what's been happening. With that in mind, I'm sticking to the same script for Game 4 and expecting another swing. The Lakers' biggest issue Friday was their offense sputtering, mostly because Luka Doncic wasn't himself. He was battling a stomach illness, which clearly took a toll. Minnesota already boasts a tough defense, but a healthy Doncic has shown he can put up points against guys like Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, no problem. In the first two games back in Los Angeles, Doncic set the tone early, pouring in 30-plus points both times. After a few days to rest and recover, I'd look for him to bounce back big in Game 4. Sure, Minnesota's supporting cast will naturally play better at home, but I don't think McDaniels, who dropped 30 points in Game 3, will repeat that kind of outburst, especially with J.J. Redick doing a great job coaching up the Lakers' defense, helping them make smart adjustments on the fly. Offensively for Los Angeles, Austin Reeves finally showed some life from deep in Game 3, and of course, there's LeBron James. He dropped 38 points last game and is about as reliable as it gets when the stakes are high. This is a must-win for the Lakers. Falling behind 3-1 would basically mean curtains for their season, so I'm banking on Redick and the staff putting together a strong game plan. They've got no choice but to get this one right. Luka wasn't 100% last game, but with the Lakers' backs against the wall, I expect a different version of him on Sunday. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I'm not betting against LeBron and Luka with the season hanging in the balance. Minnesota's 28-36 against the spread record as favorites this year just adds another reason to back the Lakers getting points. As our first pick for this matchup, the Los Angeles Lakers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Saturday's game saw both teams combine for 220 points, easily clearing the 207.5-point total. That first over of the series nudged the total up by 1.5 points for this next game. But through 3 games, these two are averaging just 204 points per game. Minnesota has been the one doing most of the scoring, while the Lakers have only broken 100 points once, on Saturday, and that was thanks to a hot start. With just one day off and considering how the Lakers are a bit older and more worn down, I wouldn't expect another fast start from them this time around. Minnesota managed to jump from just 85 points in Game 2 to 116 in Game 3, but they haven't gone wild offensively, with 117 being their highest total in the last 5 games. The under has also hit in 7 of the last 10 meetings between these teams, and that trend feels like it'll keep rolling. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Boston Celtics versus Orlando Magic. On Sunday, the Orlando Magic, who grabbed the 7th seed, will be welcoming the 2nd-seeded Boston Celtics for their first-round showdown in the NBA playoffs. Boston managed to grab the first game, turning a slim 1-point halftime deficit into a 17-point victory when it was all said and done. They kept that momentum rolling with a 109-100 win on Wednesday. However, things got a little shakier when they dropped Game 3 by just 2 points, 95-93, on Friday night. During the regular season, these two squads crossed paths 3 times. Orlando came out on top in 2 of those meetings and even managed to cover the spread each time they won. Over their last 10 matchups, the series is split straight up at 5-5, but the Magic are slightly ahead against the spread, leading 6-4. If you're keeping track of the totals, the under cashed in 7 of those 10 games. The Magic are still dealing with injuries to key players, with Jalen Suggs and Moritz Wagner sidelined. On the Celtics side, Jrue Holiday remains out, and Jaylen Brown's status is still up in the air, listed as questionable. Orlando managed to scrap together a gutsy win in Game 3, showing a lot of fight, but let's be real, they were hanging on by a thread near the end. If the clock had ticked a little longer, Boston might have snatched it back. Maybe the Magic can make this another tough one for the Celtics, but Boston only hit 9 3-pointers in Game 3. Honestly, it's tough to imagine them shooting that cold again in back-to-back games. In Game 3, the Magic and Celtics combined for 198 points, but there's a good argument that they could both push the scoring higher this time. The big slowdown came in the third quarter, where Boston only scraped together 11 points, really dragging down the total. On the plus side for Boston, Jason Tatum made his return to the lineup and looked sharp, leading all scorers. Sitting out Game 2 seemed to give him a much-needed recharge. Let's not forget, Boston finished the regular season ranked second in offensive rating, so it would be a surprise to see many playoff games where only 3 of their players hit double figures in scoring. As our first pick for this matchup, the Boston Celtics to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both squads had trouble finding the bottom of the net from deep in Game 3, shooting just 25% and 33.3% from three-point range, which is way off from what they usually do. That leaves a lot of room for them to bounce back. The Magic will also be feeling good about Cole Anthony's performance last game. Orlando was 15 points better than Boston during his minutes on the floor, and he's already shown that he can ignite the offense when needed. If he sees a little more playing time, don't be shocked if he ends up being the top contributor among the role players behind Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Speaking of Wagner, the Celtics big men had all kinds of trouble keeping him in front of them off the dribble, so it's reasonable to expect him to carry a lot of the scoring load again. With both teams due for a little shooting bounce back, this one should clear the 200-point line. Indiana Pacers versus Milwaukee Bucks. On Sunday, the Milwaukee Bucks, who come into the playoffs as the 5 seed, will play host to the Indiana Pacers, the 4 seed, in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Indiana drew first blood by taking Game 1, locking down the Bucks and holding them to just 98 points. The Pacers followed it up with another strong showing on Tuesday, pulling out a 123-115 win. Milwaukee answered back on Friday night, though, winning 117-101 to stay alive. During the regular season, these two teams faced off 4 times, with the Bucks coming out on top 3 times and covering the spread in every matchup. Over their last 10 meetings overall, Indiana holds a slight 6-4 edge straight up, but Milwaukee has a 6-4 advantage against the spread. The over has hit in 7 of those last 10 games. The Pacers are still monitoring Benedict Mathurin's status closely as he's listed as questionable with an abdominal contusion. The Bucks also have Tyler Smith listed as questionable ahead of Game 4. Milwaukee's win in Game 3 was big, especially considering that Damian Lillard still hasn't found his offensive groove yet. Lillard is one of those guys who usually shows up big in the playoffs, and it feels like only a matter of time before he starts hitting shots consistently. The Bucks really stepped up their defense, and some smart changes to the lineup made a noticeable difference in swinging the momentum back their way. Indiana, on the other hand, didn't match Milwaukee's energy in the second half and struggled badly to get stops. Tyrese Halliburton hasn't been assertive enough offensively, and right now the Bucks are rolling. Antetokounmpo has been nearly unstoppable, and this could finally be the game where Lillard breaks loose. If he does, it'll open things up from 3-point range and get more players like Kyle Kuzma involved in the offense. Every game in this series so far has been won by the home team, and the betting favorite has covered in 8 of the last 10 Bucks-Pacers matchups. Milwaukee's strong comeback win in Game 3 should give them a good boost heading into Game 4. Lillard should be sharper now that he has a couple of games under his belt since coming back from injury. Plus, if Mathurin can't play or is limited, that's a big hit for Indiana. They missed a golden chance to go up 3-0 in the series, and it might come back to haunt them. Even with almost no help from Lillard and Porter Jr., the Bucks still won comfortably. That's not the kind of thing you can expect to happen twice in a row. The Pacers are still in a decent spot since they have home court advantage in their back pocket, but the Bucks definitely have the upper hand when it comes to momentum. Antetokounmpo is still playing out of his mind, and it feels like the Bucks have a great shot to even the series at home. I picked the Bucks to win this series before it started, and I'm sticking with it. Indiana has struggled all season long on the road, and I don't think that's about to change on Sunday night. The line is fair. As our first pick for this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Pacers have been pushing the tempo hard all series, and both teams have had a ton of possessions to work with. Indiana made a deep playoff run last year, and Tyrese Halliburton played a major role in that success. He's done a nice job distributing the ball and setting up teammates, but in this game, he's going to need to call his own number more often if the Pacers want a real shot at closing out the series back home in Indiana. Miles Turner and Andrew Nembhard both had their worst shooting games of the year in Game 3, and it's hard to imagine that happening again. Even with Damian Lillard making only 2 shots, the Bucks still put up 117 points because they caught fire from deep. Lillard's due for a breakout performance, and he's had enough time now to shake off the rust from his injury. This feels like the night where he reminds everyone who he is. Both teams are going to be desperate and locked in on offense. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.